So, we meet again. Hey, you guys. Thanks for coming back. I'm so glad to see you all. Looks like we have no computer problems today. Hi, Ava and Chase, Ian and Erica. So glad you came today. Michael and Christina. And Javen and Johan. Hi. We'll get started at the usual time today, 2 p.m. East Coast time. Okay, great. And I'll just say hello to a few people coming in, such as Alana and Liam and Amelia, Ada, Alex and Zach, Abigail and Chester in North Carolina, Henry from Kentucky, Cassidy, Maria in Texas, Lincoln in Oak Lawn, Jesse, Alex and Patrick and Gavin and, they're coming by fast now, Billy Bob, Elizabeth, Preston, Tinsley, Brock, the Tuttles. So glad you're here, everybody. James, hi, Dylan and Will from Bear Tavern, Darcy and Jude the Dude, Lucas and Connor and Hunter, Kylie, Molly, Marissa, and Jake and the Maslowski kids, and Jay and Maya and the Haney family, and Laney and Ben, and Ryan, Matthew, Logan, and his whole family, Ryan, Billy, Bob, Aloha from Hawaii, from Tanoa. I'm so glad to see you all back after our little disaster yesterday. Mattingly, Brady, Josephine, Zach, Rodrigo, Lucas and Ella. Hey, you guys. Braden and Michaela, Jonah from Boston, Reese and Anton from Colorado, Natalia from Fresno, Devin, Bryn, Katie and Colin, Dan, Susie, and Shmaya, hope I pronounced that right, Susie, Daniel and Zachary. Hi to all of you. We'll get started in 3 minutes. Lauren, Emily, Madeline, Sarah, Nema, eating cheese balls, Mallory and Magnolia, thanks for coming, Lydia and Amelia, the Greenfield family, thank you all for coming today, Michael and Violet, Stefan, Sean, Logan in Stamford, Connecticut, Hudson and Cooper from St. Louis, Rebecca is here, Emerson, and Sam and Gavin in Long Island, Tyler also in Long Island, Timon, Jack. Hey, you guys. Thanks. I'm so glad all of you are here. It's a lovely day here in New York City. Hope it's nice where you are today. We're going to have some fun today, as we always do. We got 2 minutes to go. Patrick, Alyssa, Kinley, Lily, Addie, and Abby. The Searle squad, as always, are in the house. The Markwood Kitties say hi. Peter, Mac in Iowa, Jasper in Bethpage, New York, Hunter, Emerson, and Lily. Aaron, Ben, Daniel say hi. Dagash, Kaylee, Rossello, Jack and John. Hey to all of you, we got 1 minute to go. AJ and Morgan, Emily and Allie, Avery and Ethan. I'm so glad you all came here. I wonder how many people are in each of those houses. Like some of you guys have like 4 people. Okay. All right, we get started in less than a minute, East Coast time. I'm excited. Hope you're excited too. I think we're back on track now. I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. I like to read your comments later. I go back and listen to the whole thing and read all your comments, or the ones that are still there on the screen. And I promise I read them all, even if I don't always answer all of them. Okay. All right, and if you don't watch right now, you can watch later after we're finished. And usually the audio quality, by the way, is better when you watch later. For some reason, I don't know why. It's go time, baby! Hi, Dan Gutman here. I am the author of the My Weird School series and lots of other books for kids too. And let's get right to it today with our question of the day, which comes from Max from Montana. And Max asked, how many My Weird School books are there in total? The answer actually is, Max, 82. Yes, that includes, and I added it up, that includes 61 of the regular My Weird School books, like Mrs. Master is a Disaster. Then there are 9 specials, such as the Halloween special, which I'm sure many of you have read. There's 9 of these. And some of you have probably also read the My Weird School Fast Facts books. These are nonfiction books where AJ and Andrea argue about stuff. There's 8 of these, plus there's 4 easy readers for kids who are a little bit younger, My Weird School books. There's 4 of these. So it adds up to 82 books altogether, plus the ones that will be coming out in the next year. But I'll tell you about that another time. For now, let's get started with Mrs. Master. Yesterday we read chapters 1 and 2, and we learned that it was Grandparents' Day at school. Kids were invited to bring their grandparents to school, and everybody did, And Alexia's grandma is Mrs. Master, actually. There she is. And she is an inventor, and she started her own company. So the kids have decided that she's a bazillionaire, and they want to start their own company so they could become bazillionaires. And they call her up on the phone. They say, would she come over to the school and teach them how to start a company and invent stuff? And she said yes. So that's where we're starting with chapter 3 today, which is titled, What Does Everybody Need? All right, you guys ready? Gather around your big screen TV, your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone, and let's get started. We walked back to Mr. Cooper's class. When we got there, we told him that Mrs. Master was going to help us start our own company so we could make bazillions. You'll need to count all that money, Mr. Cooper said. Math is very important in the business world. So let's all turn to page 23 in our math. He never got the chance to finish his sentence. At that moment, you'll never believe who came through the door. Nobody. You can't come through a door. Doors are made of wood. But you'll never believe who came through the doorway. It was Mrs. Master, and she was riding a hoverboard. Hello, my young fogies, she hollered. Mrs. Master, why are you riding a hoverboard? Asked Mr. Cooper. Oh, it's not just a hoverboard, she said. It's a combination hoverboard and lawnmower, so you can hover and mow at the same time. It's my latest invention. And here's a picture of Mrs. Master coming into the classroom on her lawn mowing hoverboard. All right. Cool, we all shouted. Grandma is always coming up with ideas like that, said Alexia. So, you want to make an invention and start your own company, said Mrs. Master. What do you want to invent? We don't know, Grandma, admitted Alexia. Said Mrs. Master. Well, the first rule of inventing is to invent something that everybody needs. Let's put on our thinking caps, said Mr. Cooper. I looked at my desk. There was no thinking cap in there. I would just have to think without one. What does everybody need? I thought and thought. I was thinking so hard that my brain hurt. Food! Shouted Andrea. Everybody needs food. Clothes! Shouted Neil, the nude kid. Shelter! Shouted Ryan. We all need a place to live. That's true, said Mrs. Master. Pencils, said Mr. Cooper. I'm always losing my pencil. Everybody was thinking. That's when I got the greatest idea in the history of the world. A toilet seat, I shouted. Everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Okay. I know it said there wasn't going to be anything else in this book about toilet seats. But think about it. Everybody needs a toilet seat. If you don't have a toilet seat, you'll fall into the toilet. You're right, AJ, said Mr. Cooper. That's not a bad idea. The only problem is that most people already have a toilet seat, said Mrs. Master. When you buy a toilet, it comes with a seat. An inventor wants to invent something that people don't already have. What if we were to make a toilet seat special, I said, or different? How can we make a toilet seat different? Asked Mr. Cooper. Aren't all toilet seats pretty much the same? I thought and thought some more. I thought my head was going to explode. What if the toilet seat was heated? I asked. Then it wouldn't feel cold when you sit on it. That's a good idea, AJ, said Mr. Cooper. He looked really excited. Yeah, everybody shouted. I think they have heated toilet seats, said Mrs. Master. Somebody already invented it. Oh, everybody groaned. Said Mr. Cooper. Grown-ups always say when they're thinking. Nobody knows why. How about a heated toilet seat that glows in the dark? Mr. Cooper suggested. Then you can find the toilet at night without turning the bathroom light on. Yeah! Everybody shouted. Well, that would be different, said Mrs. Master. I don't think anybody ever invented that. And we can make the toilet seat scented, so it smells pretty, said Andrea. A heated, scented toilet seat that glows in the dark, shouted Mr. Cooper. I love the idea. And we could make it talk, I shouted. Everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Arlo! Why would anybody in the world want a talking toilet seat? Asked Andrea, rolling her eyes. Because it's lonely in the bathroom, I explained. A talking toilet seat would help keep you company. It's brilliant, shouted Mrs. Master. AJ, I think you're a genius, shouted Mr. Cooper. We're going to make bazillions, shouted Michael. It was the greatest moment of my life. And here's Jim's picture of everybody reacting when they realized the great idea that AJ has come up with. All right, so that was chapter 3. You guys ready for chapter 4? Okay, here it comes. It's called The Name Game. Okay. Everybody was excited about inventing the first heated, scented, talking toilet seat that glows in the dark. Even Mr. Cooper. I can't wait to get started, he said, clapping his hands together. I have a workshop in my basement. I can build it there tonight. I can bring over a hammer, said Ryan. I have some wood we can use, said Neil. Slow down, said Mrs. Master. That's not how to start a company. Alexia, grab a pencil and paper. Kids, before you invent anything, you need to make a business plan. Huh? We all said, which is also backward. You need to explain to the world why your company will be successful, said Mrs. Master. Let me see. Does anybody know how many houses there are in China? Andrea took out her smartphone. Her parents got her one so she could look stuff up and show everybody how smart she is. It says here that there are almost 500 million households in China, she reported. Good, said Mrs. Master. Write that down, Alexia. And let's say that 1 out of every 10 families in China bought our toilet seat. How many toilet seats would they buy? Andrea fooled around with her smartphone some more. Almost 50 million toilet seats, Andrea said. Wow, we all shouted, which is Mom upside down. Good, said Mrs. Master. Alexia, write that down. 50 million toilet seats. That's a lot of toilet seats, said Emily. And that's just in China, said Mr. Cooper. The worldwide market will be much bigger. We're going to make bazillions, shouted Michael. We worked on the business plan for the rest of the afternoon. Mr. Cooper didn't try to teach us spelling or math or any other boring stuff. All he cared about was the toilet seat. It was almost 3 o'clock. For once in my life, I didn't want to leave school at the end of the day. Starting a company was fun. The next thing we need to think about is a name, said Mrs. Master. We already have names, I said. My name is AJ. Not names for us, dumbhead, said Andrea. We need a name for the toilet seat. Why can't a truck full of toilet seats fall on Andrea's head? I was going to say something mean to her, but I was too busy trying to think of a good name for our toilet seat. I couldn't come up with anything. How about the heated, scented, talking, glow-in-the-dark toilet seat, suggested Alexia. That's a little wordy, dear, said Mrs. Master. It has to be a cool name, said Ryan, like Cozy Crapper. Crapper is not a nice word, said Mrs. Master. Nobody will buy a toilet seat with the word crapper in its name. Why not? Ryan asked. The toilet bowl was invented by Thomas Crapper. Dr. Nicholas taught us that when she visited our school. We'll read this another time. How about Turdinator? Turdinator, suggested Neil. That doesn't have the word crapper in it. I have an idea, shouted Andrea. Cushy Tushy. That's a great idea, Andrea, said Emily, who thinks all Andrea's ideas are great. Fanny Canny, shouted Michael. Butt Hut, shouted Ryan. Squat Spot, shouted Neil. Hot Seat, Mr. Toilet, Royal Flush, Glow Bowl, Thunder Throne. Everybody was shouting out names for the toilet seat. Some of them were funny. Sir Flush-a-Lot, Poop-o-matic, Mean Green Potty Machine. Some of them were just dumb, like Fabulous Floater Flusher. I wasn't coming up with any ideas. I thought and thought until my head hurt. How about you, AJ? Asked Mr. Cooper. Do you have any names for our toilet seat? You're usually good at this sort of thing. I don't have any ideas, I admitted. Arlo, said Andrea. You are such a party pooper. As soon as those words were out of her mouth, everything stopped. I looked at Andrea. Andrea looked at Emily. Emily looked at Neil. Neil looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at me. Time seemed to stand still for a moment. It was like the sky opened up. Rainbows appeared, and angels started singing. Party Pooper, I yelled. We should call it Party Pooper. It's the perfect name. Everybody started shouting, yes, that's it. You're a genius. And here's Jim's picture of everybody realizing that AJ and Andrea's name was perfect. At that moment, the bell rang. It was 3 o'clock. Time to go home. Great, said Mrs. Master. We'll call it Party Pooper. I love it. I'll type up the business plan and print it out tonight. Tomorrow, we'll work on a prototype. Huh? We all said. A prototype is a model of the finished product, said Mrs. Master. Leave it to me, said Mr. Cooper. This is a job for Cooperman. And that, my friends, is the end of Chapter 4. Tomorrow we're going to start on Chapter 5, which is titled, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. But before we go, you know that it's time for the joke of the day. Okay? And the joke of the day today comes from Sam in New Jersey, not my son Sam, some other Sam, who said, Hey, have you seen the new TV show about constipation? No, that's because it didn't come out yet. Okay, if you don't like the joke, you can blame it on Sam in New Jersey. All right, listen, you guys have been staring at the screen for too long. You've been staring at screens. You've been sedentary. You're sitting on couches. It's time for you to jump up, dance, fool around, go crazy. So it's time for the theme song from Josh Salzman and Ryan Cunningham. You know it. You love it.
My weird school, I'm AJ and my school's a mess. My weird school, before a school is fine, I guess. My weird school, where odd is cool, and the teachers are strange as a rule. Where Yonkers is bonkers, and Jay-Z is crazy, Mrs. Cody is loony, and the lady is zany, and then there's her principal, his name's Mr. Klutz, and my whole man is Batman nuts. My weird school, a million hundred hours long. My weird school, where normal things do not belong. My weird school, where odd is cool, and the teachers are strange as a rule. And my weird school, my weird school, oh yeah, it's my weird school.
Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Read like crazy. Wash your hands like crazy too. Bye.